Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Many thank you for joining us today on this webinar. We are here to answer all your questions. Of course, you have received an overwhelming response. Some 400 people have sent their questions. We'll try to answer as many as we can. But in case we are not able to, we'll try to write to you to answer your questions. I'm Kanksha from the NSP admissions team, and my colleague.
Yeah, hi, I'm OG from the NSP admissions team.
Some of the admissions questions, because I think that's where we are right now. So just to give you a brief overview about NUTM and NSP before we begin. So, you know, NUTM is a new initiative in higher education. We are building one of the best African universities here in Nigeria, focused on technology and management. The full university will be coming up in 3 years from now. We are putting all the pieces together right now. But as we speak, we have launched the flagship program, which is called NUTM Scholars Program, which will commence this year in September. That's the program for which we're taking applications. This is the applications for the founding class. We are looking for a class of 60 scholars. This is 1 year, full-time, residential, based in Lagos, full scholarship to every scholar of the founding class, which includes tuition, your residence, your meals, and everything related to your stay in Nigeria, in Lagos. So that's like a little introduction. Of course, we are accepting applications right now. We went live on 20th February. The round 1 deadline was on March 20th. Right now, we are chasing the next deadline, which is May 15th. The final deadline of the program is June 20th. So, and we have already started shortlisting our candidates. We are doing telephonic interviews as we speak, and we'll be notifying candidates as we go forward.
When is the program starting, and when will it hold? Is there some kind of stipend involved? So I think we can answer that one. So we're hoping the course will start 15th of October. It was originally scheduled to start 1st of September, but with the disruptions, we decided to extend the physical start of the course, 15th of October. However, prior to that, we would have a number of online activities to engage you, preparatory courses, preparatory materials, up until about a month, up until 15th of October. The other part of your question was where is it going to hold? Like Akansha already mentioned, it's going to be in Lagos, Nigeria. And with regards to there's some kind of stipend. So when Akansha spoke about the scholarship, it relates to tuition, residence, meals, and then we have if we're going to have a 1 week study trip, that will be paid for as well. But no, there will be no stipend. You would have to be responsible for other living expenses. So I hope that answers your question. Shall we have another question that says, what are admission procedures and what is critically required to get selected?
Sure. So, and somebody from the audience also asked this question, that how do you get in? So there is a comprehensive admission process, right? So there is a 4-step of admission process that you have to go through before you get into the program. As we said, we are accepting applications. The first stage is an online application. So you go on our portal, you submit your online application, which consists of some essays, your personal information, your background, your work experience, your education, your transcripts, and a letter of recommendation. You submit that application. That's step 1. We evaluate your application. We shortlist you for the next stage, which is a telephonic interview. So somebody from the admissions team will get in touch with you and will conduct a short telephonic interview with you. Once your telephonic interview is done, you proceed to the 3rd stage of the admissions process, which is an online assessment. Now, don't get scared from the online assessment. It's nothing very complicated. It's just more to know about your personality. The test or the assessment will consist of some psychometric questions, some critical thinking questions, and some essay type questions. So that's your online assessment. Nobody is going to be eliminated on the basis of online assessment in year 1. Please note, this is a critical point. Once you have received your shortlist after the telephonic interview, it's a step that you have to do that just helps us understand more about your candidature, more about your fit, and how much and how do we help you throughout the program once you are in the program. Once you are done with your online assessment, you move to the next and the final stage, which is the 4th stage of the admissions process, which is a personal interview. Of course, before the COVID came, the idea was to meet you physically in person, with a 2-people panel, some people involving very senior members and board members from NUTM and somebody from the program team. And, this interview would have given us a chance to know you better. But given the COVID situation, it's going to be a Skype or a Zoom interview, and that's the final stage. The admission committee then convenes and sends the final offers to the selected scholars. So that's the admissions process.
So we have another questions. These are coming from the live audience right now. We have what kind of applicants are you looking for the NSP? For the NSP, we're looking for postgraduates. We hope that you would have fully attained your undergraduate degree already. But in terms of what kind of candidates, we're looking for people with curious mindsets, people who have already exhibited leadership qualities, people who have a passion for Nigeria, for Africa, people who have a solutions mindset. So, I mean, generally, those are the kind of people that we're looking for. I don't know, Kansha, if you have any.
No, I think, Oji summed it up well. I would just like to add, in terms of eligibility, the 2 very basic criteria are that you should hold an undergraduate degree in any discipline: computer science, political science, agriculture, law, psychology, medicine. It could be anything, right? It's a course which promotes diversity. So we want people from all backgrounds. However, the course will focus on technology, entrepreneurship, design, leadership, and critical thinking, writing, right? The other eligibility criteria is that, we would like candidates who are 32 up to 32 years of age before they begin the program. So those are 2 eligibility criteria. Of course, the ideal scholar profile, as Oji mentioned, you should have leadership potential, you should have good academic records, you should have strong written and verbal communication skills. There should be passion for impact, for Africa, for doing things, right? That's what we are looking for. And I think that's what the country and the world needs right now. All the more given we are facing the current pandemic, because we need to think differently about how we solve our challenges. So that's all. You could be anybody from any part of the world, as long as, you have a passion to build things, and you want to contribute to the impact of the country and Africa. This is your place to share.
So I'm going to combine these 2 questions, because one says, what type of certification do you get at the end of the program? And the other one says, is there an MSc or any other certificate at the end of the program? So this is not an MSc program. However, the content and intensity is equivalent to any postgraduate program that you would have anywhere in the world. At the end of the program, what you will get is a certificate in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. And we do hope that it sets a foundation for any, whatever it is you want to do with your career afterwards, or any kind of entrepreneurial ambitions that you do have. We do hope that when the main university starts, this is something we can compare to, a master's degree later on in the future. What is the minimum word limit for the essays? Is 350 words, is 350 the minimum? I think we say, in the questions, we do say, your essay question should be up to 350 words. So 350 words is the maximum, right?
Right, but I would like to say, please utilize those 350 words. If 350 word is the limit, don't give us 10 words, because that doesn't tell us anything. The point of putting these questions out there is that we want to know your thought process, we want to know your ideas. So use them to the maximum. Don't be shy of using the word limit, which is there, right? To tell us your story, your experiences, what do you want to gain out of the program. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and your essay questions also tell us your ability to articulate your ideas. So when you do finish and you're an entrepreneur, you do have to sell your ideas to people, and that ability to kind of structure your thinking and structure, your thoughts and your process is very important to come across when you do answer the essay question. This is another question about the start date. So if you were not here from the start, we did talk about that the physical classes will start 15th of October. However,
the preterm will start on September 1st. So you will have 6 weeks of preterm that you will do online, but we expect all candidates to be on campus from October 15th for a physical classroom setup. This is a full physical setup program. This cannot be done online. You have to commit all your time to doing this in Lagos. So you have to move to Lagos to do this program.
Okay. Is the admission process in batches? Kansha?
Admission process in batches. So, I think this is the worldwide phenomenon and we are not new, all right? The idea is that, so that we can also process applications which are coming to us in batches. We don't want everybody to hold up for like 3 months or 4 months, till we announce the final class. So the idea is that everybody who applies in round 1 should get their decision within 8 to 10 weeks, should get the final decision within 8 to 10 weeks after the deadline, right? And that's the timeline we are trying to follow for everybody, and that's why it's in batches.
Someone is asking, is it a full-time program or can I juggle it with my present work? I know Akansha already spoke to the fact that it is a full-time, fully residential program. Now, with regards to whether you can juggle it with your work, we expect that would be difficult because of the intensity of what we expect you to be doing during the course of the year. So,
yeah, I think the intensity is very similar to any postgraduate program around the world. So you should be able to commit that kind of time and effort to a program like this, right? And given it's a full scholarship program, given we are investing so much in getting the right faculty, we want undivided attention for the classroom and the experiential learning. Of course, final decision is on you, but just to give you a sense, we are talking about 600 to 800 contact hours in a year, which is as intense as it gets. So, I think, and I think to also make maximum of the program, right? To take away as much as you can, you should be present physically, mentally. There is a learning that happens beyond the classroom as well with your peers, right? With guest lectures, with the program team, right? So yes, you should think through before you make that decision.
Okay, and then this is a question I think we've gotten a few times. How do we know the courses will be selected for? So again, let us speak to, this is a 1-year interdisciplinary program. It's a postgraduate program in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. So it's one course, it's one fellowship program in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. So you will not have a chance to select what courses you do take. It is one program, and that program then has multiple courses, which will be mandatory for everyone. So I hope that helps clarify, but I don't know if Akansha.
Yes, no, I think this is perfect, right? It's an interdisciplinary program in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. And as OG says that, you don't have a choice of choosing a particular field out of that. So everybody has to do all mandatory 25 courses in the program, as well as experiential learning, which includes a TED Lab, a Shadow a Leader, a Global Immersion Week. So everything that program offers has to be done by everybody. No option, no sidetrack, no specialization.
Yeah. And then this feeds into the next question, which is people are asking, what are the courses of study of the program? So if you can just walk them through what the courses are.
Sure. So, as a structure of the program, there are 6 tracks, right? I'll just name the tracks first, and then I list the courses under each track. So the tracks are technology, entrepreneurship and design, management, leadership, perspectives, and critical thinking and writing. Under each track, you will do 4 to 6 courses each. So for example, the courses under technology are introduction to computing, data science, artificial intelligence and machine learning, big data, operations management, cybersecurity. Under the track entrepreneurship and design, the courses you'll do will include creativity and entrepreneurial innovation, introduction to entrepreneurship, design thinking, human behavior, technology and design, opportunity recognition, and design research. So these are 2 tracks. So I've listed about 12 courses till now, right? Under management, we have strategy, marketing, negotiations, finance, accounting, project management. Under leadership, the courses that are planned as of now includes exercise inner leadership for greater impact, art of leadership, group dynamics, and contextual leadership, business leaders in emerging markets. Under perspectives, there'll be courses such as sustainability, history, gender, economic reasoning, and public policy. The last one, which is critical thinking and writing, you'll have 4 courses: effective communication, creative writing, perceptive communication, and integrated problem solving. So that lists the array of 25 to 26 courses, that's mandatory for everybody under the 6 tracks.
And then just in terms of what we're talking about courses, running through the entire program is going to be what we're calling the TED Lab. That's going to be part of your contact hours as well. So, every day, every week, you would have certain hours dedicated to TED Lab. Do you want to tell them what TED Lab is about?
Yeah, sure. So I think we're still figuring out the specifics of TED Lab, but I'll just tell you the theme, right? So basically, TED Lab is everything that you learn in classroom, you apply that knowledge, right? You apply whatever concepts you learn in the form of projects. So it's one of the key components of our experiential learning. The idea is that you will work in teams of 3 to 4 people each and work on an entrepreneurial idea throughout the year. Of course, we'll give you coaches, we'll help you refine your idea, etc. And the first phase of it is market research and prototyping, etc. The second phase of TED Lab is, where you take it to the market, where you develop, your MVP, you figure out your go-to-market strategy, you figure out your revenue model, and also putting you in touch with different people from our network, right? Everybody from board members to different experts who are coming on board for this. So that's TED Lab. And we expect it to be, an important part of the overall learning that we're trying to facilitate here.
Okay. So this question we sort of answered before, but we'll just clarify. So someone's asking, would you advise a student in his final year to apply for the undergraduate or postgraduate scheme? So there are 2 things in this question, right? Let me clear the issue of whether you can apply for an undergraduate or postgraduate scheme. So when Akansha was speaking like that, she spoke about how NUTM is an idea, it's an initiative to build, a world-class tertiary institution that focuses on technology and management. And that university is about 3 years out, right? But however, we're starting off with 1 postgraduate program in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. So, so I hope this clears for you that it's 1 program, it's a postgraduate program. And then when the university starts, yes, you will have the opportunity to apply for undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, and even PhD programs. Now, with regards to you being in final year, you can apply. However, we do need you to have an undergraduate degree as at the time that you're starting the course, because we need you to have your transcript as well as at the time you're starting the course. So yes, you can apply in final year, but please, it will be important that you have graduated and have your transcript as at the start of the course, which is the beginning of September. Before we start the preterm.
Right, but just to add to this, but nothing stops you from starting your application process. I know because of the COVID situation, a lot of you are not able to reach out to your education institutions. You don't have your transcripts handy. You're not able to reach out to your faculty or to your advisors. That's fine. And we've been saying this. Please start your process. Do your application, fill up an undertaking that you will submit your transcript and letter of recommendation in case you are selected to be a scholar. But we do want to see all these documents before we finally enroll you into the program. So it's okay if you don't have it for now, but we do need it in the course of time before you begin the program. Okay, would there be a student performance review process? If yes, how often it should occur? Okay, I think it's a good question. And I think this is the first time we are receiving this. Yes, of course, there is a student performance review process. So you know how the program is structured is there'll be 25 faculty teaching you these courses, right? And every course would have its own evaluation system in the form of exams, in the form of quizzes, in the form of your class participation, in the form of the project work that you do, right? So all courses will have their own evaluation system, plus some of the evaluation system that we are going to put in place, some feedback forms, some feedback process for the experiential learning. And that all together forms your student review process. Yes, there will be a GPA that you will receive at the end of the program. So it's like any other postgraduate program. So yes, you will be evaluated continuously, not only on the basis of exams, but much more, if that answers your question.
Asking, does your class of degree affect your chances of getting in? And the simple answer is no. However, we have talked about we're looking at you holistically. We're looking at your academic potential, your leadership potential, and so many other things, your mindset, and things you've been involved in, things you've created. Just basically, we're taking a holistic view as to your fit for the program. And so the short answer is that no, your class of degree will not create a disadvantage for you getting in. Right?
But at the same time, you should be able to, hold the rigor of the program. It's a rigorous program. And, if you're curating this set of excellent faculty and, different kind of programs, we want all of you to put in your best, of course, it's understandable that not everybody would be good at every subject, but, that doesn't mean that you don't put in effort, right? So you have to put in effort. And in the past, if you haven't had great academic records, maybe this is your chance to do better and, take the learning process in a very different spirit and perform at optimum level.
Okay, so are there job placements after the program?
Okay, yes. The short answer is yes. There are job placements after the end of the program. So, after the program, there are three kind of opportunities, if I can club them, right? One is job placements. The second is, you want to start your own venture. We would love to help you out doing that. Of course, this doesn't mean that we can fund you, but of course we can help you connect to relevant people, right? And you can start on your own. And because I think that's what the current generation needs. We need to create many more new ventures to ultimately create many more jobs. So that's the second bucket. And the third bucket is that, many of you might want to consider, higher education opportunities, right? Within the country, within other parts of the world, to the US, to the UK, to the Europe, or within Nigeria, right? It's really up to you. So, of course, there will be career coaches who will work with you from day one of the program, just to see what are your interests, what are your skills, how can we help you in whatever time you have with us. But yes, we would want that you should take up either of the three options that I just stated, right? And we would get you job opportunities. We are working with the industry to try to see what is the requirement like, how can we best prepare you for that, and get you as good opportunities as possible with different kind of industries within the country and within the region.
And then maybe we'll touch on anything that wasn't clear before. We talked about these three questions. One says you have 3 application cycles to select 60 candidates. Are you selecting 20 per cycle, or how many are you selecting per cycle? For this one, we just want to clarify there is no fixed number per cycle. The point which Akansha already mentioned is just about getting the applications through the door so we can process them as quickly as possible in batches, as opposed to making everyone wait up to one deadline.
Yeah, I think if the admission committee feels that you deserve a chance and you are meant to be a scholar, it could be at round 1 or round 3. It doesn't really matter. And it doesn't mean that you can. It also doesn't mean that you apply early, but you don't do a good job with your application. And you will get in because you applied early. So of course, as OG said, there is no fixed number. Of segregating scholars like that. So whoever deserves, whoever the admission committee feels should move to next stage will move forward, irrespective of the rounds of deadlines.
Exactly. And then someone's asking, does applying in the third batch then affect your chances of getting in? So like
no,
Akasha just
again,
said no.
yeah.
And then can one apply to more than one cycle? I mean, please.
No, I think you can't do that. So, I think if you have applied in one cycle and you have received a response from us, whether on the affirmative or on the negative, I request you not to apply again within the same year, because we will not be reading it. Of course, but nothing stops you from applying next year, and of course you should you should put a lot of effort in your application, vis-a-vis what it was last year. And so you cannot apply within the same year in 2 different cycles.
No one will be disqualified at the 3rd and 4th stage. Please let us clarify that. What we said was that at the 3rd stage, which is the psychometric assessment, that it is not being used to qualify or disqualify you. It's really just giving us information about who you are, and it also helps us to manage you once you make it through to the 60. But the selection process is finalized after the 4th stage, where you have done in-person interviews, which would have been physically in person prior to the current pandemic going on. So now it will be more like a video interview, and then at that stage there will be those who will then be selected and those who will not be selected. So I hope that is clear. Is data science an area of focus? You want to speak more to that?
No, I think data science is not an area of focus, but under technology there are definitely courses in big data, data science, right? So it does open up a window, but there's no specialization or area of focus like that. But of course, given everything that's happening in the world right now and where are we headed, we will get you, if this is your area of interest, apart from, we can't add more into the curriculum, but we can help you, match up with a similar leader, with a similar coach, and you can work on a project in data science, in your TED lab, and like proceed through it.
What particularly is expected from scholars by the end of the postgraduate program? I imagine you mean B, will there probable collaboration with NUTM on futuristic projects, or scholars are expected to start off their career independently?
Okay, that's a heavy question. So I think what is expected out of you is, that you live by the values of NUTM, right? Of course, your basic expectation is that you do well, you respect the program, you respect the opportunity, the faith which has been placed in you, right? So make the best out of it. That means do your courses well, figure out your own path, work on your personal development, right? With us, with your peers, with everybody else. And of course, take one of the opportunities that we are suggesting, right? Whether it's a job opportunity, whether it's something starting of your own, or a higher education, possibility. So that's the basic, tangible sort of expectation from you, right? Of course, on your point of, is there a possibility of, collaborating further? Of course, there are possibilities, right? You can always come back and do something with us. And, there's a whole university in making. So you can come back to the university for a more traditional degree, I would say, right? Like a master's or a PhD. You could also come back and if you start something of your own, you can come back and offer jobs to the scholars of the next batches, right? You can become a buddy to the next batches. You can mentor some of the people. You can work with us, in refining the program even more. You become our ambassadors, right? That's what we want. And the idea of starting this is to give you a flavor of the idea that we are talking about, right? What does it entail? Who are the people involved? What is the level that we are talking about, right? And take that beacon for us to different parts of the country, to different parts of the world, and help us reach out to more and more people, and take this message and co-build this institution with us, because something like this is new to the region, to the country. So we want all hands on the deck, right? And that's how all of us are working. So yeah, we would love to have our scholars, especially the founding class. And let me tell you, the founding class is always special, right? Mm-hmm. Having gone to one such program, they are forever invested into the program. So yeah, you will be a part of the program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, questions during the telephonic interview.
I'm not sure what you mean by technical, but yeah, I mean, everything that you have written, in the application, we will ask you questions related to that. We would like to know you, know a little more about you from the projects you have done, right? Of course, we're not going to ask you to solve a C++ or a Python problem, but you never know. Maybe one of the people from the senior members of the board have a deep interest in what you have said, and they go more in the depth. So, there are no boundaries on the kind of questions being asked, but at the same time, it's more to know you, right? Or more to know about the experiences you have had, and let's to test you on some of the objective things. Of course, we strongly believe that everybody, is an evolution process, right? Everybody has that potential. It just depends whether you are at stage 1 or stage 5, right? So you're definitely somewhere. We all are evolving individuals in whatever we do, personally and professionally. So yeah, I mean, the idea is to be more inclusive, right? And not exclusive. So yeah, that's where we will come from. And, as much as we want to know you, I'm sure you also want to know us. And, that's what we are trying to do these sessions and try to tell you that.
The last I've heard from the admissions team, do I just go ahead to the portal to continue my application, or I wait for a notification from the admissions team?
Right. So if you've already had your telephonic interview, please wait to hear from us about the next step. The next step is an online assessment. So you will hear from the admissions team this week or the next week to write your online assessment. And we'll parallelly schedule your personal interviews and the final interview with the board members and other senior members of the admission.
Okay. Are there opportunities for internships during the program?
The short answer, so it's very interesting that this question is coming up again and again, and OG and I were speaking just before we did the session that, what is our answer to this? The short answer is yes, there are internships in the form of this program that we have, created called Shadow a Leader, but it's more than an internship, right? So Shadow a Leader, of course, you will go to a workplace, you will work on some projects, etc. But the idea is that you work with a leader, you shadow them during these 6 weeks. So your experience is more than just working on some project and acquiring some skills, but more to see their leadership journey, right? What are the habits, how to deal with people, whether you want to be something like them, you're more like associates to these senior leaders, and you work closely with them. So there is an internship program, but it's in the form of Shadow a Leader, where you are associates, and it fits into both internship and leadership, if I may call it that way. Oji, you would like to add anything?
No, I think okay. Thank you. How long does it take to get feedback after submitting the online application? I mean, maybe we can just reiterate.
Yes, I think we can just reiterate that one. So after the respective deadline, right, we will take about 3 weeks to, inform you about the first decision. We are trying to reduce that window to a shorter duration, but right now I would say 3 to 4 weeks till you hear it from us for the first time. The final decision on the offer will take 8 to 10 weeks after that respective deadline. Yes.
Is there a limit to the number of recommenders? And I'm imagining this speaks to where we've asked you for a recommendation letter. Yeah. I think right now we just ask for one recommendation, and
that's enough. That's enough. Please don't bombard us with too many of them.
Please.
Yes.
How does the institution collaborate with regulatory bodies globally and locally? For instance, NUC in Nigeria. So I think you're speaking to accreditation, and yes, and as part of building the larger university, the idea would be to get an NUC license. It would be to get any other international accreditation that helps to give the school, the NUTM, credibility, and makes it a very strong institution for you to have been educated by. So yes, so that is how we're working with them at the moment. Because it's a fellowship program, we're not required to be accredited by NUC right now. So we're focused on the content of this program and just giving you a chance to fellowship with one another and build your network and interact with these world-class professors that we want to bring bring to you. And then, so anywhere we operate, we're going to obey whatever.
And just to add, we're not doing something which hasn't been done, right? There are many fellowships around the world which are, placed very, very highly on the pedestal just because of the kind of content, what does the network offer you, and what you intend to do after the program, right? So of course, we are saying that we have drawn inspiration from like a Rhodes Scholarship or a Schwarzman Scholarship in China or a Knight Hennessy at Stanford, right? So that's the kind of inspiration that we are drawing, right? Of course, at some point we will convert it to a master's program, and we are working closely with NUC on that, but not right now.
And so the next question says, it appears that the age of 32 is a must irrespective of how good one's result is. Why is such limit placed by the organizers? Okay, when we chose to cap create a requirement for 32, and the reason for that was because the program is open to everyone. For those who are in final year, who will be done by September. We wanted a world where there isn't so much of a gap with the people in the classroom, where you have people with 10 years experience, being classmates and peers with those who have just graduated from school. We do want some kind of natural closeness between the classmates, and you can learn from each other, and the gap is not so wide that is now disinspiring, right? For both parties, either the ones who are just out of school being demotivated and overwhelmed, while the ones who have worked so much and have achieved so much are also demotivated because the environment is not challenging enough. If you think about it from the delivery of the courses, at what point does the lecturer kind of place the intensity or the complexity and making sure that the whole class can be carried along. So if you think about it from that perspective, you would understand why it was important not to have such a huge gap in terms of experience, in terms of achievements, and just to create that very conducive environment for the class to sort of relate to one another and really be peers, where you're going through stages of life almost almost at the same time, and you can continue to be fellows, for decades to come. So I would say that's really why it was done. But having said that, I don't think that we will turn down a very good application simply because a person was above the age of 32. But yeah, it is important for us to maintain that dynamic in the class. So.
No, I think, that sums up very well in terms of our intention, right?
Right. What opportunities will we have during the program to start or continue volunteer activities contributing towards societal development?
Okay, I think this is an interesting question. So I think, one, there are a lot of opportunities within the program, right? Like if you try to focus on everything that we are trying to do, there is a lot to do. However, this is an interesting proposition. We shall think about it. And, if you want to volunteer with any particular kind of activity, it's not part of the curriculum, so it's not mandatory for everybody to do as of now. But we will think through in case you want to reach out to somebody and volunteer your time. You feel free to do that on weekends.
Those who are not from Nigeria, is their transport to Lagos facilitated?
No, so unfortunately, we'll not be able to do that. However, once you are at campus, we'll take care of the residence facility, your meals, and if you travel for global immersion, we'll take care of that travel. But your first travel to the program and the final travel out of the program is not part of the overall scholarship that we are offering.
Okay. Those and that we will not be getting an MSc certificate at the end of the program. Well, once NUTM gets the required accreditations, will our certificates be converted to MSc, maybe based on academic credit? Yes, the process for that is will be ironed out once we get the accreditation.
We don't want to commit to anything now.
But what we are saying, the content is designed based on our vision for what we plan for the postgraduate courses anyways, when we start the main university. So how that conversion will happen and to what, that's yet to be determined, but the idea is really when the university starts to convert your certificate in technology, entrepreneurship, and design to a master's program within NUTM, right? Is there a dress code for the video introduction in the online application? The answer is there's no dress code. It's really up to you. Your video tells us about your creativity and just, helps us to see how you can articulate who you are and communicate that. And now, how important is the self-introduction video to the strength of the application? You know, I actually want to speak to this because as we go through the applications and I see certain things that I'm missing, I tend to want to know why. Like, this is an opportunity for you. We haven't met you before, and this is your first chance to kind of communicate who you are, and you know, and if you've asked for certain things, it really makes me wonder why you wouldn't want your best to even answer the questions or provide what we've asked for. Yes, it is optional, and I would say, and it doesn't make or break your application, not at all. But I would say it does say something when you do comply with what you've been asked for, during your application process for an opportunity such as this. And of course, the video, it tells us it's our first time of seeing you, and it does tell us it's your first chance speaking to us and telling us who you are or what you're about, you know. And I would say you should take advantage of that opportunity, actually, right? Okay.